that the public can take to prevent further killings? Number one, and what do you think again? How can we ensure that the justice for these victims are realized by the families, and what are the roles that the public should play to make sure that we stop this demanding accountability? I know you have spoken about it, but
All
there's
right.
somebody.
I can answer that. First of all, people should appreciate the fact that I've been a victim of abuse and brutality. Abduction did not start today. I keep reminding people that my house was invaded, bombed, and I was abducted. And I was detained for 6 days, tortured, and then later on, 3 days at the airport and sedated. I regained my consciousness in Dubai. Up to today, I've not received my justice. Why do people believe that you're going to get justice from a system that is captured? Why would you believe that these people are going to obey court orders when they have not obeyed the other court orders, the old ones, like mine? I have court orders, the length of River Nile, none of which has been obeyed except one. The only one that was obeyed by Ruto in 2022 is to give me my passport and allow me to come back to the country. So we cannot be exuberant. Tom Mboya's family has not obtained justice, and Tom Mboya was assassinated in 1969. Pinto was assassinated in 1964, and the family of Pinto have not obtained justice. J.M. Kariuki was assassinated in 1975, and the family of J.M. Kariuki have not obtained justice. Kungu Karumba was killed in 1960s, and they have not obtained justice. Arwin Skodek was assassinated in 1969, and they have not obtained justice. Ochoka was hanged in 1982, and the families have not obtained justice. Odhiambo Mbai was murdered, under Kibaki, and they have not obtained justice. Msando was murdered with all of us watching, tortured and killed in Kiambu in 2017, and his family has not obtained justice. The list cannot end. The list is so long. Let us not be people with amnesia or Stockholm syndrome. What I'm saying, which probably many people did not understand, if you do not change this system, if you do not transform this system, if you do not remove the people and their assistants, they have been there replicating, cloning each other since independence, you will not have justice for the people who are dying. So unless we are suicidal and we want to continue dying, then we can stop fighting. So the only solution is to fight and finish the war. Get rid of Ruto and his entire regime and let Kenyans be free to get rid of this system and transform it once and for all. I left one historical context that is important. The state called Kenya was set up by the colonialists at the Berlin Conference of 1884 in Germany, not for purposes of serving Kenyans, not for purposes of delivering services, not for purposes of respecting our rights. After all, at that time, we were not human beings. The white people did not consider us as human beings. This state was set up to extract raw materials and to use us as cheap labor or slave labor. So for the interest of the West, which is exactly what Ruto is doing. Ruto spends most of his time abroad. He traveled literally every week abroad. The Finance Bill 2024 was drafted in Washington, not in Nairobi. David Ndii and the rest are just earning for no reason. There is no economic advice they're giving. So my answer to you, my friend Gondi, there will be no justice until the system has been transformed, overhauled, and completely changed.
Thank you, Dr. Jimaji and Wanjiru. Go ahead.
Thanks, Hillary. Basically, if I understand Dr. Miguna well, he's basically saying drain the swamp, because I would then, if you look at how these things have been happening, even the abductions and the previous regimes have been doing it. So actually, if we expect any change, then of course we need to change the structure. But that having been said, the question I have, as you explained the transitional council that you are suggesting, Dr. Miguna Miguna, how constitution is it within our constitution, or how would that play out? One. Two, there have been a lot of rumors out there, and I would like this clarified because it's the mind that people out there would manipulate when they're trying to discourage the youths from defending their rights. There are people who actually believe, I know they're misinformed, but we just need to put it on record here, that in the case when the president would, in the very unlikely event that he would resign, then there would be a power vacuum. That is not the case. So, please, as you answer my first question on the transitional council that you suggest, please give a brief on what happens, because I think they clearly know what happens if any president dies. The DP is there to take over until things are sorted. But please do us the honor of clarifying what the constitution provide in the event that a president would resign. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I can answer very quickly. Number one, how did we force Ruto not to sign Finance Bill 2024? We didn't go to Parliament. We didn't go to court. There was no court order. What section of the Constitution or what clause of the Constitution made him refuse? There is no clause. We stopped him by people being on the street. That's how you stop dictatorship throughout history. The French Revolution, that's how it happened. All right? All the revolutions of the world happen on the streets, in the villages and towns and cities. And that is completely constitutional. And that's why I referred you to clause 1 of the Constitution, which says sovereignty belongs or vests on the people. That is a clause in the Constitution. Essentially, the Constitution says you can take power. These people are acting as your trustees. You basically donated your power to them. It's a donated power. It can be withdrawn. It's like you appointing me as a lawyer and a retainer. You can come and say, you know what? I don't like your work. I terminate this contract. You're no longer my lawyer. Exactly what should happen in this case. The people should be able to go to Ruto and say, you know what? Time is up. We gave you an opportunity. You messed up for 2 years and time is over. We are going to replace you. So that's number one. You do it on the street. You cannot do it through any other organ of state, because organs of state protect themselves and they have been captured. They have been corrupted. They have been hijacked. They no longer serve your interests. They serve interests of organized mafia. So that's number one. Number two, how do you then replace them? The issue of a vacuum. That's a red herring. How are they replaced in Afghanistan just the other day? You can argue that, oh, there was a fighting force. No, fighting or not, there is a population. The population is comprised of many, many professionals and many, many people that are better than Ruto 1,000,000 times over. In Philippines, they did that in Philippines, and the vacuum was not filled by Pinochet's people. The vacuum was filled by the civil society, the activists, and the churches and whatnot. And then those constituted themselves into an authority that conducted elections and new people were elected. We can decide that we are not going to recognize any of these corrupted institutions. And the military will support us because you cannot shoot 1,000,000 people plus. You can't. It has never happened in history. And they will then tell us, okay, we respect your position. We respect the fact that you have refused not to recognize the existing quote unquote authority. Who do you give us? We can then meet in our spaces and elect whoever we want, or appoint whoever we want for a temporary period. And if those people mess up, we go to the streets and we remove them until we conduct a free, transparent, credible election. for Kenyans to go to the polls and elect whoever they want to occupy these positions. That's the way it is done all over the world throughout history.
Thank you so much, Dr. Miguna, for the clarification. Take a
Um,
go, Wanjiru, and then we bring Pombe Kali, no, Abdul Rahman, Pombe Kali, and Elvis. Back to you, Wanjiru.
thanks, Maj, and thanks, Dr. Miguna. Okay, so what I'm hearing, I think, is what makes every Kenyan, including myself, very uncomfortable. But it is an uncomfortable truth that we must interrogate. What I'm hearing is that it's gonna be chaotic, and because we are dealing with somebody who would rather burn his country and rule over over the ashes, this person is going to remove all the power of the state. And we know now that he controls the army, just like he showed us. He can unleash the army unconstitutionally and put the army on the streets, right? He's got all the organs of power, the police. We, of course, know that the courts are all captured. So going to the streets means we're going to disintegrate into chaos